Right, shalom to the elect of Israel. First, all praises to Yahweh, Bahasham, Yahweh Shai, Wahara, Kakwadash. Double honors to the apostles of Great Millstone that taught us this truth. A salute to Yakim teaching his word to the elect in truth and sincerity. This is Isaiah from GMS UK, London, England, coming with another video, right, from the Gothamist here, right, an article reading news. If a nuclear attack hits New York City, these fallout shelters won't protect you. All right, September 21st, 2022. So yeah, I just came across this article and it's just the title caught my attention, right? If a nuclear attack hits New York City, these fallout shelters won't protect you. Right? So I was thinking, what do they mean by that? All right. Now it says here, all right, these are some of the signs of fallout shelters. Right now it says a leftover fallout shelter sign, one of an unknown number, displayed on a building, August 11, 2017, in New York City. Officials concede that these iconic signs don't mean anything and shouldn't be followed. Okay, so they got these fallout shelter signs in certain areas in New York. All right, it says this summer, New York City officials released a public service announcement about what people should do in case of nuclear Armageddon. But if an atomic bomb does explode in a city, experts advise against taking cover in a building with a fallout shelter sign. All right, one of these. If you see any one of these, all right. Which, going back to the title, of this article here, if a nuclear attack hits NYC, these fallout shelters won't protect you. Which ultimately, none of these, shelters or bunkers that they're gonna have for like the the common person, the average Joe, they ain't gonna do much to good. Like they're not gonna save anyone, man. All right, but we'll read a bit more into this. All right. It says thousands of these black and yellow signs still remain on structures throughout the city's 5 boroughs, marking locations where New Yorkers could take refuge from the deadly radioactivity of a nuke more than 50 years ago. Back then, these shelters were mostly concrete, windowless rooms packed with canned goods and water supplies to sustain people for days. But they were never all they were cracked up to be in terms of protection. In truth, it didn't matter if the shelters worked or not. If a nuclear bomb went off, most people would be dead from the initial blast. All right, which is true. All right. Now, this is really it's really ridiculous, because a lot of these signs here of these so-called shelters, they're going back more than 50 years, man. All right, now that is quite a bit of time. Now, the technology and the weaponry of these intercontinental ballistic missiles, right, these nukes, has increased. Right, they got hypersonic missiles, warheads. The nuclear capabilities is at a higher level, more than going back 50 years ago. All right, so that's just that. All right, if these missiles hit, when these missiles hit, okay, because it is prophecy in the Bible that these missiles will be used. All right, which I'm going to prove that. I'm going to get that in the scriptures. But when they hit, anybody that's around on that land and within the radius, in the same distance, they're gonna be charcoal, man. No shelter, no bricks and mortar is gonna protect anybody from that blast. There only has to be the Lord, right, that delivers the chosen few that will be delivered. All right, now it says fallout shelter signs are the last remnants of an ill-conceived program that was designed to quell the fears and anxieties of Americans who had little faith in the shelters to begin with. Okay, so a lot of people during that time, there was tensions even with Russia, okay, at that time as well. And they, were worried, man, that, Russia sending their nuclear capabilities over and, nuking the shit out of them, basically, man. Right now it says, I'm really struck at the enormous fraud that was perpetrated on the public, says Dr. Jeffrey Krosler, an associate professor who specializes in New York City history and is in the interim chief librarian at John Jay College. And let's give New Yorkers credit. They knew that this was ridiculous, that it was a fraud, that there is no such thing as survivability. Yeah, man. You know, I mean, that's what them nukes are designed for. All right. So let's see. Let's go down a bit. It's reading down. It says, today, many of New York City's fallout shelters have been turned back into laundry rooms and other communal spaces that aren't meant to protect residents from a deadly attack. There's no way of telling how many of these signs still exist around New York City besides consulting unofficial maps. Okay, so yeah, they've got a lot of these signs up here, man. Signaling for shelters, for fallout and nuclear attacks, but they're useless, man. Just to add to the more tension that the threat of nuclear war is in the air, man. Going back more than 50 years ago, right, with Russia being the main boogeyman. It says, but now that nuclear tensions with Russia are on the rise again, it says Jeff Shkeldjamik, director of the National Center of Disaster Preparedness at Columbia University's Earth Institute, says the city's signs should be removed to avoid confusion. All right, yeah, people run into it, but it doesn't even matter, because at the end of the day, this destruction that's going to come, all right, is a judgment from the Lord, man. All right. Let me read down here. It says in 1961, New York's then Gov. Nelson Rockefeller convinced the state legislature to spend roughly $50 million on a state fallout shelter program. Rockefeller was so convinced of a Soviet nuclear attack that he reportedly installed shelters under the governor's mansion in Albany and at his 3 private residences. Right, an interesting name there. You already see who's handling the money behind this. All right, Amalek. All right, it says that same year JFK was inaugurated as president and launched a nationwide fallout shelter program intended to ease the nation's anxieties. Okay, because so yeah, tension, with this nuclear, capabilities have been going back, for decades, man. All right, and we're coming into the end days, man, where the things are really coming to a boiling point, heating up, man. But ultimately these nukes are going to be used. All right, so right now we're seeing rumors of wars. All right, which I'm going to start with that. I'm going to get the scriptures. All right. Let me read this. It says, if a nuclear explosion were ever to happen, NYC Emergency Management says the best thing to do is to stay inside rather than attempt to evacuate, and stay tuned for alerts. For those who find themselves outside during a nuclear attack, Skoljamik suggests finding shelter quickly as far from the blast as possible. Once inside, he says people should remove their clothes to prevent radioactive material from coming into contact with their skin. Yeah, blah, 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 blah. All right. If you're anywhere near that, man, you're toast, bro. You're charcoal. That's it. All right. So let's get the first scripture. This is Matthew's chapter 24. And we're going to start from verse 6. Right now it says, and ye shall hear of wars and rumors of wars. See that ye be not troubled, for all these things must come to pass, but the end is not yet. Right, so, and that's a sign of the end times, the signs of the last days that our Lord told us to look out for. Right, and tensions between Russia and these nations, mainly America as well. All right, all that tension is ultimately going to lead to nuclear attacks, man. All right. And, that whole, conflict and the invasion of Ukraine by Russia, recently, has been causing more tensions, right? It's been causing things to become very heated, right? Russia having, all the nations look at them as being the boogeyman, all right? These nations sanctioning Russia, right? Trying to cut off their, resources. All right, and what do you think, that's doing? That's, that's leading to conflict, man, because you're playing with you know, their money, their economy. All right, and it's gonna come to blows soon, man. All right. Now let's get some of these prophecies, man. All right, let's get Isaiah chapter 9 and verse 5. And it says, "For every battle of the warrior is with confused noise, and garments rolled in blood." Okay, so yeah, a lot of you know, the warfare was in the ancient world. That's how they were fought. Okay, confusion. You know, swords and shields. You know, armies of men. You know, charging at each other. Okay, it was hand to hand combat. That's how wars were fought. All right, previously, but now it says, "But this shall be with burning and fuel of fire." So what is that talking about? That's nuclear warfare. All right, that's talking about when these missiles are used, man. That's what this warfare is gonna be. All right, nuclear warfare in the result of World War III. Okay, you know, and the scriptures speak about the missiles, man. All right, and now ultimately America is gonna receive the worst end. Okay, America is gonna receive the worst judgment of it. Let me go to Joel. I wanted 2. This is Joel chapter 2 and verse 3. It says, "A fire devoureth before them, and behind them a flame burneth. The land is as the garden of Eden before them, and behind them a desolate wilderness. Yeah, and nothing shall escape them." Okay, so a fire devoureth before them, and behind them a flame burneth. Okay, so yeah, you have the missiles, all right, where the fire behind them propelling it forward. All right, and now you got the main, you know, strength and the damage in that missile being in the head, the nuclear warheads. Okay, that's what's gonna do the most damage. Okay, you can have up, you know, several warheads in one missile. All right, and they're gonna be launched, man. They're gonna be used, you know, to go in, you know, different continents. All right, now you got a lot of these nations that have this nuclear capability. All right, Russia, America, China, India, Turkey, even the UK. All right, the UK's got nuclear weapons. A lot of these nations, man. So, and they're all gonna be involved. That is what, you know, what World War III, you know, is gonna you know, cause, all right, all these nations to get involved. Okay, now it says, "A fire devoureth before them, and behind them a flame burneth. The land is as the garden of Eden before them." So yeah, only when you look at America, right, is as the Garden of Eden. It's like paradise. All right, a place that you would want to go, a place you'd look at and be amazed to see. All right, all the skyscrapers, the high-rise buildings, all right, all the lights, the glitz and glamour, everything looks all, you know, like paradise. You look at Las Vegas, you look at New York, and all these major cities. All right, you know, where, you know, all the, you know, they look like they're having all the fun. All right, but you know, what does it say? It says, "And behind them a desolate wilderness, yeah, and nothing shall escape them." So ultimately, all right, it went from being looking like a paradise to ultimately being a desolate wilderness. All right, that's the damage that these nuclear missiles are going to do. All right, so how much power is going to be coming in those missiles? How much damage and devastation are they going to cause? So you really think back, going to all these shelters and these concrete brick and mortar buildings, fallout shelters is going to protect anyone? It's really a joke. All right, it's really mockery, because anybody that has a bunker or any you know, thing of that nature worth having, if anybody, is going to be the elites, the rich upper ruling class elite, man, which they ain't going to be nowhere near the common people. They ain't going to get nowhere near to that. Okay, because the scriptures speak about the elites being pulled out of their bunkers. All right, this is Amos 9 and 2. It says, "Though they dig into hell thence shall mine hand take them. All right, and hell ultimately just means the grave, down in the ground. Is where they they got dumb, deep underground military bases. All right, they come out with this information. All right, the military, the upper elites, they have all these things. All right, they got the money to invest in it, and they got the time. But ultimately, the scriptures is letting you know of their plans. All right, some of them plan to go underground. Some of them plan to go in, up into the upper heavens. All right, Salak. I'll read that again. This is Amos 9:2. It says, "Though they dig into hell, thence shall mine hand take them. Though they climb up to heaven, thence will I bring them down." All right. So yeah. So though it doesn't matter that these elites got bunkers underground. Doesn't matter that they got stations up in in the space. They got their space stations. The Lord is still gonna bring them down, man. The Lord's gonna take them out. They're gonna be chained up. They're gonna be brought in slavery, and they're gonna serve captivity. Okay, for all the wickedness that they've done. All right, they're gonna answer for all their wickedness. All right. Now, those of the common people, they're just gonna be walking charcoal. All right. They're gonna be destroyed. As simple as that. All right, let's get Malachi chapter 4 and verse 1. It says, "For behold, the day cometh that shall burn as an oven, and all the proud, yea, and all that do wickedly shall be stubble. And the day that cometh shall burn them up, saith the Lord of hosts, that it shall leave them neither root nor branch." Okay, so that day is only going to be when those missiles are used. Okay, those missiles that they got, that they're perfecting, the Avangard, all the hypersonic missiles that Russia has, and which Russia ultimately came out recently boasting of how much weapons they got, man. Which all of these nations, they've all been working on it, man. There was, like a race, man, who can get their hands on the most, nuclear missiles and all that warfare, all that capabilities. These nations, man, they're running, trying to get their hands on all they can. Look at Iran. All right, you got Israel getting all shaky, hot and bothered because Iran is getting their hands on nuclear weapons. All these other nations, and because ultimately that's how it's gonna all end. All right, it's gonna be the downfall of Esau, the wicked. All right, his kingdom. All right, especially America. All right, all their wickedness is gonna come to an end. All right, that is the final judgment the Lord has for America ultimately. All right, being Babylon. All right, so let's get that when we close. Revelations 18 and verse 8. It says, "Therefore shall her plagues come in one day, death and mourning and famine, and she shall be utterly burned with fire. For strong is the Lord, Yahweh Shai, who judgeth her." So ultimately America is going down, right? And it's going to be a downward spiral, right, of plagues, crisis, and judgments back to back, ultimately before the icing on the cake where the missiles land, That's the judgment. It's as strong as the Lord who judgeth her, man. The Lord is bringing this, right? The Lord has condemned America and those that are the inhabitants in it. All right, the only ones that's getting off of that land to be delivered from that destruction is going to be the Lord's elect, the Israelites, who repent. All right, it said she shall be utterly burned with fire. How is that going to be so? With those missiles, the ICBMs. All right, this battle shall be with burning and fuel of fire. All right, and you ain't going to be able to escape that with no weak nuclear fallout shelters, man. That's a joke. All right, no missile defense systems, none of these things, man, is going to be able to prevent this from happening, because it's prophecy. All right, prophecy simply means to say before, and it's all throughout the scriptures. All right, it says, "And the kings of the earth who have committed fornication and lived deliciously with her shall bewail her and lament for her when they shall see the smoke of her burning." Okay, so those who have joined onto America, philosophies and getting rich off of America by, you know, selling their products, all right, exporting to America and getting rich, you know, they're gonna be, you know, coming to their realization they ain't gonna make that money anymore. That America is no more. You know, it says, standing afar off for the fear of her torment, saying, alas, alas, that great city Babylon, that mighty city. All right, that's America. All right, Babylon meaning confusion. That's the land of confusion. That's what you see in America. Okay, pride marches, you know, alphabet groups. You know, you see it a lot. You see everything there. All right, that great city. It says that mighty city, for in 1 hour is that judgment come. So it takes 60 minutes, 1 hour for America's total destruction. Okay, what is capable of that? You know, what's going to be able to do that? That's going to be the missiles. All right, that can go from different continents, man, in less than 30 minutes, 15 minutes. You know, as little as, you know, an hour. You know, so that's the judgment the Lord has for America. All right, thus saith the Lord, according to the scriptures. So these missiles, they are going to be used, and there's nothing that anyone can do to prevent it, man. That is the fate and destiny of America, man, of the wicked, all right, of Esau. All right, so I'm going to end it there. All praises to Yahweh, Ba'ashim Yahweh Shai, Waharaka Kodash. Double honors to the apostles, a great millstone. And with that, to the elect, Shalom.